These games are ranked by PlayScore, a standard rating that averages gamer and critic reviews. Opening our list of the top 25 action games on the PC is Tomb Raider. Bust your way out of this mysterious island in Crystal Dynamics' smooth reboot of the Tomb Raider franchise. Uncover the origin story of Lara Croft's battle scars and insane survival skills. Using makeshift tools, find your missing crew members and solve a magical conundrum hidden behind the island's abnormal weather. Its semi-open world offers so many action sequences that'll surely keep your adrenaline pumping. It receives a play score of 8.78. Number 24 is Fallout New Vegas. Considered as the best Fallout game ever made, the fourth major title to Bethesda's Fallout series takes you to the radioactive plains of Nevada. Developed by Obsidian Entertainment, go on a personal journey around the vast wasteland filled with difficult choices, complex morality, and a living, breathing RPG that really makes you the player. It receives a play score of 8.79. Number 23 is Trine 2. A sequel that exceeds its original, this puzzle game from Frozen Byte Games takes you to an open-ended masterpiece that will challenge you to make your own choices. Choose from its variety of characters and bask in its gorgeous detailed fantasy world. Follow three heroes as they make their way through a dangerous fairy tale world. Aside from the main game, they have massive expansions that bring more juice to the game, like the Goblin expansion and unlockable Dwarven Caverns. It receives a play score of 8.80. Number 22 is Super Meat Boy. The definition of a hardcore platformer. Live the life of a cube-sized creature, try to save his girlfriend, Bandage Girl. Help him reclaim his girlfriend from 300 hazardous obstacles led by Dr. Fetus. Guide him as he escapes terrifying razor blades, brutal traps, and epic bosses. A product of a once simple Flash game that turned out to be great, rummage through every level as it goes increasingly difficult, making every encounter a nightmare for platformer amateurs. It was lauded for its slick controls, accurate platforming designs, and fun replay value. And not to mention, a story so moving, it would scar you for life. It has a play score of 8.81. Number 21 is Transistor. Supergiant's take on a futuristic cyberpunk world takes into form with its second major installment. After Bastion's instant success, follow Red in her quest to find her missing voice in a city filled with rogue machinery. Use your sentient sword and take out enemies with dazzling colors. Throughout this indie game, get entranced with its striking colors and atmospheric soundtrack. Its combat is as intense as its sound. It has a play score of 8.82. Number 20 is Hyper Light Drifter. Another indie title with a mesmerizing world. This game takes you to a ruined world where past meets future. Take a scenic look as every chapter feels like a modern-day painting. As a drifter, your role is to uncover memories and explore its handcrafted world. Combat is easy to pick up, but it's difficult to master. Survive by upgrading your weapons and yourself because the enemies are vicious and strange. It receives a play score of 8.83. Number 19 is Mushihime-sama. Dive into desert landscapes and lush forests, battle against their gigantic koju bugs, and try your hand against their colorful hypnotic patterns. With 3 of their original game modes in full HD form, it's a bullet hell experience you'll keep coming back to. Taking its origins in the PlayStation 2 era of 2005, it's a classic brought back to life. It has a play score of 8.84. Number 18 is This War of Mine. While most games focus on the battlefields, this survival game shines a spotlight on the tragic misery of civilian lives. Experience the true horrors of war rearing its ugly head. Play as 4 characters trying to survive through weeks of hunger, thirst, and loneliness. You'll be faced with difficult decisions that'll test your moral fiber. Will you die just to let others survive? It has a play score of 8.85. Number 17 is Terraria. If you look at it, it feels like Minecraft's little 2D brother. While similarities do exist, there's a lot of differences when it comes to the gameplay. Terraria lets you play at your pace. Go gung-ho and start digging deep into caves guarded by monsters, or take it easy. Claim your little turf, mine herbs, gather weapons, before taking that grand quest for epic loot and rare items. So start exploring, prepare to fight, and build your own virtual home. It receives a play score of 8.86. Number 16 is Bastion. The game that made Supergiant what it is now. Explore a world in ruin after a mysterious calamity and step into the shoes of a kid as he embarks on a life-changing quest. Narrated by a seemingly omniscient voice, follow him as he faces off with hostile creatures that roam around its devastated world. With multiple weapons in hand, switch seamlessly and make sure to rebuild what was once lost. It receives a play score of 8.91. Number 15 is Torchlight 2. With the startling success of their first title, Runic Games' critically acclaimed action RPG makes a stellar return. Dive into its vibrant world filled with deadly beasts, rewarding loot, and rich interactive environment. While it has an equally enjoyable multiplayer mode, its single-player experience is just as good with their awesome side quests and immersive world. Like a more colorful Diablo, it receives a play score of 8.91. Number 14 is Shovel Knight. Driven with a sense of purpose and the power of love, Yacht Club Games' iconic platformer excavates the 8-bit nostalgia within you. Be a knight wielding his trusty shovel and save your beloved from an evil kidnapper. Navigate around the mysterious castle and dig your way to find secrets or smack your enemies in the face. It receives a play score of 8.91. Number 13 is Downwell. This classic-style platformer takes you on a dark descent into a mysterious well. A Devolver Digital game, dive down into its procedurally generated world equipped with your gun boots. If that's not enough, use your trusty weapons to vaporize enemies and collect treasures in its sweet and descending style. The game guarantees that there's more stuff to do in every fall. Go down and further down because this game has a play score of 8.92. Number 12 is Pony Island. Daniel Mullen's strange indie puzzler. Step cautiously into this eerie metafictional game that is very aware of its existence as a game. While that usually leads to some funny, breaking the fourth wall type interactions, this game takes the road less traveled, dealing a few bursts of psychological horror with a side of ardent curiosity. Jump over some hurdles, get to the finish line, earn huge amounts of experience, and find yourself in a spiral of confusion and despair. We don't have to say much, we'll keep you surprised. It receives a play score of 8.93. Number 11 is Pac-Man Championship Edition DX+. Gear up and return to the circular jaws of our adorable little monster in a classic improvement of its original. Get ready to chomp more ghosts as you pile them up in the most ridiculous ways. Beat your friend's score on the leaderboards and prove them who's the chomping master. But it doesn't have to stop there. Play around its various new features such as new layouts, courses, and an infernal arcade mode. It has a play score of 8.94. Number 10 is Super Hexagon. Yeah, this is action. The fact that you're constantly moving your fingers in high speeds makes it more than enough. Boost your PC's volume because this game will have you scrambling through every level. Engage yourself in the adrenaline-pumping action, guiding your arrow around a maze of dizzying hexagons. Its minimalist design takes nothing from its fast-paced gameplay. White-knuckle your way out of its high-tempo environment that'll leave you gasping for air. It receives a play score of 8.96. Number 9 is The Elder Scrolls V: Skyrim. Action and RPG. Todd Howard's love child calls you again and again to venture into the beautiful world of Skyrim. Slay dragons, make peace with kingdoms, loot houses, and get smacked by a giant. This 6-year-old game may have shown its age, but its continuous modding and open-ended adventure delights players in many ways possible. Buy the game. It receives a play score of 9.02. Number 8 is Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. 2 5 games in a row. Experience Metal Gear Solid like no other. Before there were nanomachines and evil senators, there's Venom Snake and his vengeance. The 5th major and final entry of the MGS series goes open world, and boy oh boy, it's amazing. Use your master-crafted tactical espionage skills against your enemies and rebuild your mother base from the ground up. It receives a play score of 9.02. Number 7 is Borderlands 2. Improving in so many ways compared to its original, the open-world FPS welcomes you back into the brash, cel-shaded world of Pandora, now packed with a whole new story and an upgraded class system. Also returning are their stunning visuals and random-generated loot and trademark brand of humor. While they've taken a turn to a more dark and gritty narrative, their well-written enemies and side characters are always ready to step in. With tougher enemies, just make sure you have a friend over. It has a play score of 9.03. Number 6 is The Binding of Isaac: Rebirth. After the successful Flash game, its Steam release breathed new life to this creepy roguelike adventure. Help Isaac escape his deadly fate by sneaking out through his monster-infested basement. Conquer hundreds of dungeons and fend off creatures with your cowardly tears. Be careful though, one wrong move will take you right back to square one. It's a game of biblical proportions known for its challenging rooms, harsh permadeaths, and eerily adorable visuals. It has a play score of 9.04. Number 5 is Batman Arkham City. Some call it the best Arkham game to date. Rocksteady's second title after Arkham Asylum takes you to the crime-infested streets of Arkham City. Now transform into a citywide penitentiary, help Batman stop Joker and the other rogues gallery in a race against time. Its new open-world elements grant you full control of the Cape Crusader's fists. It receives a play score of 9.06. Number 4 is Dishonored. Bethesda and Arcane Studios' ultimate stealth adventure experience. Play as Corvo Attano, a man caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. Follow his journey as he vindicates himself from a crime he did not commit. An FPS game utilizing the gift of stealth, unleash your devastating supernatural powers to exact vengeance on these poor souls, or finish the game without a single kill. It receives a play score of 9.08. Number 3 is Mark of the Ninja. Show off your innate agility and vulpine cleverness to outwit foes in every stage in this stealth-based indie platformer. Pay attention to the noise you make and use the shadows to your advantage. It's a game that rewards you for your intelligent choices, giving you points for bloodless clears as well as your stealthy massacres. With their smart mechanics and impressive visuals, Mark of the Ninja is easily one of the most rewarding stealth experiences out there. It has a play score of 9.17. Number 2 is Mass Effect 2. Before EA murdered the latest Mass Effect game, there was the original trilogy, but among them lies the best entry of the franchise. Follow Commander Shepard and his friends in a quest to rid the world of the imminent Reaper invasion. The game is greatly improved compared to the first game, especially its choices and the third-person shooting aspect. It's one of the finest sci-fi games ever created, and it receives a play score of 9.23. And the best action game on the PC is none other than The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt. It goes to show that you don't need to have guns to make an action game. Geralt of Rivia's open-world adventure is merely enough. Filled with unforgettable missions and characters so complex, CD Projekt Red's masterpiece has won the hearts of many people. With 2 massive DLCs that don't cost much, it adds new flavors to the medieval fantasy world they offer. Unfortunately, this is the final chapter of Geralt's story, but it's a perfect send-off to our white-haired mutant. It receives a play score of 9.29. You may get these games right now by clicking the links below.